The question you got to ask yourself is, what do you want? What do you want out of politics? What I want out of politics is a better country. I want a country that is more conducive to my flourishing, the flourishing of my family, and the flourishing of my countrymen. So we used to call that the common good. That's what I want. I want the country to have more opportunities for good stuff and fewer opportunities for bad stuff. That's it. And then you got to ask yourself, okay, who brings you there?
Are you worried that we'll do a little black pill for a moment? Because I think we're kind of going white pill, and I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Obviously, not only did Trump survive, but everything that you've just laid out here. My black pill version of this would be that this is all sort of peaking too early, or that we still have 3 months till the election. So quite literally anything can happen. We just went into some things that could happen crazy, in terms of Democrat convention. But do you fear that there's so, like, the thing that we're feeling right now, and just knowing how fast news travels and disappears these days, that it will be almost unsustainable to November, or that a gajillion other crazy things can happen? That's
more to the point, Dave. Yeah. As we're speaking right now, President Donald Trump was shot in the head 4.5 days ago.
Yeah.
And people aren't even really talking about it that much anymore. So there will be, I think, actually a gajillion other things that happen between now and then. The Republicans can't get complacent. We don't even know who we're running against. We're now seeing the first signs from Biden that maybe he will get out. So we don't even know who we're running against. It's going to take a lot. I was pleased to see the Republican unity, though. I know another part of the RNC that received some criticism was the speeches by Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, because a lot of the Republicans think Haley is too liberal, or they think that Ron DeSantis was disloyal for running against Trump in the primary, or what, and everyone has their problems. But I think President Trump should get those Ron DeSantis votes. I think he'd be more than happy to take them.
Yeah.
I think President Trump would like to get those Haley votes.
Yeah.
There are a lot of kind of moderate Republicans who are, there actually are a lot of those people. It'd be good to get them on the team in November. So that's all we can do right now. All we can do is pull the party together, keep our eyes on the future. We're not going to be able to predict the future. We're going to have to respond to those events in real time. No one was going to predict what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. But if we're all moving in the same direction, that's a good start.
Do you, since we're, I guess, insiders at this point to all of this stuff, do you ever think it's funny how, like, Trump on one hand, you can call Nikki a bird brain, and DeSantis wears heels, and all the names, and by the way, the names go every which way. Mm-hmm. And then because it's politics, and I guess this is the good nature of if you really care about the country, that everyone can just put it aside, where then Nikki is literally giving a speech praising the guy who, by the way, she worked for and was quite good at that job at the UN. And he's nodding along with her, just months after calling her bird brain and everything else. The two that seem like can't put it down is Gates and, what's his name, McCarthy. Man, they hate each other, and it's obvious and it's personal. And I feel like that is not going to end well.
Well, and also they have nothing to gain by softening up to each other. I mean, I think that's really more to the point that you're making. Whereas Trump and Haley both benefit from putting their differences aside. Trump and DeSantis both benefit from putting their differences aside, and they can do it. Ironically, one of Trump's best political features is he takes nothing personally. And everyone seems to think he takes everything personally. He's got very thin skin, and I don't think that's true at all. I think Trump has very thick skin, and he can pummel you into the ground when it suits him. And then when you kiss and make up, he can forget all about it. There was a great clip. You remember in 2016, President Trump called Ted Cruz Lion Ted. Lyin, it was just so vicious, and so all these terrible, mean things, really crazy things about Senator Cruz. And then they kissed and made up after the primary. And what did Trump say? He goes, "I'm not calling him Lion Ted anymore. That's not what I call him. He's beautiful Ted. He's beautiful Ted now." And what? Who is? But that's actually mature and public-minded, because it's really not about these individuals. It's about doing good for the country.
What would you say to the people that are just not getting what we're saying here about this wide tent thing and why they should come around to this? So I mean, let's say the never Trumpers that have been thought of as Republicans over the years, and let's say the more liberal people who maybe are waking up to the craziness of the Dems, but just still have that thing with Trump. Because those are the few groups that could well, I guess the never Trumpers on the Republican side probably don't move. But I do think the disaffected libs still can move. That's been really the driving part of my show for the last year. What would you say to them at this point?
The question you got to ask yourself is, what do you want? What do you want out of politics? What I want out of politics is a better country. I want a country that is more conducive to my flourishing, the flourishing of my family, and the flourishing of my countrymen. So we used to call that the common good. That's what I want. I want the country to have more opportunities for good stuff and fewer opportunities for bad stuff. That's it. And then you got to ask yourself, okay, who brings you there? Is it Biden? Well, it's so raw for us right now because we're still in the Biden administration, during which everything has gotten worse. And maybe you've got a hobby horse about some foreign conflict. Maybe you've got a strong position on immigration. Maybe you're a nerd about financial policy or tax policy, and that's you. Okay, fine. But what I'm asking people to do is what we ask our politicians to do, which is maybe disregard for a moment some of your personal hobby horses and just look at the bigger picture here. What gets you a better country that is more conducive to your flourishing, that does not cross any particular moral lines of non-negotiables? Who is more inclined to do that? And I think if you ask that question honestly, unless you have a really, really fringe, bizarre, extreme ideology, you got to go with Trump. You think of the never Trumpers or the really driven, crazy libs who just hate the cut of his jib or something. Mm-hmm. They generally have personal problems with Trump. And okay, we have personal problems with all sorts of people, but we're not engaged in a personal battle right now. We're not engaged in a personal question. It's a political question. It's about the public. Who do you think is going to advance the common good? It's Trump.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of nonstop screaming, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.